Yo, what is good, you guys? Welcome to the video. Today I'm going to teach you the best stats to prioritize on Gladiator. This class can be played several different ways, and I think there are two top tier ways to play the class. There's going to be a lot of min-max of certain stats, but mostly because stats are RNG, you need to know what stats to prioritize. So that is the main purpose of this video. Let's go ahead and hop into the game. And let me show you guys my character. Okay. I'm currently level 45 and I'm reaching 2000 combat power. Probably the second I finish this video, I will be at 2000 combat power. And in this time of grinding completely free to play, up to this combat power, I have learned several different ways to play Gladiator. As you will see, this is my current gear. I post my build in my stream, the links to my stream. I will also post the links in the description. Any questions you have, I will typically be live streaming. I might be live streaming as you're watching this. With that being said, let me show you my stats. Okay. I'm nearing 2000 attack. I would like this to be higher. However, I haven't started fully rerolling stats and I haven't worked on a adequate weapon for my level yet, but it's coming soon. My accuracy is fairly good. It's at 282. It could be a lot better, but again, like I said, not done optimizing. Almost to 1000 crit. Even though crit is capped at 50%, you have to account for enemies' crit hit resist. Any tank or bruiser is going to build a lot of crit hit resist, so we definitely want a good amount of crit if we ever want to crit those tankier classes. My defense is at 9k. This is pretty good. I can tank 3 enemies most of the time before going down. With a healer, I could probably be more, unless it's an insane assassins. Assassins and probably Sorks might be the only two classes that could really burst me and stop me from being able to truly sustain. Evasion, I am going for a decent amount of evasion, but this is going to be something that really has to be min-maxed because it's a little hard to get those stats. It's a little easier to get critical hit resist, to be honest. HP is at 17k, it's really good. My combat speed is at 17k unbuffed, that means 27k buffed. This needs to be higher. However, once again, I am not fully optimized. So, these are my stats. Now, what stats should you prioritize? Well, you should prioritize the best stats per piece of gear. Okay, so let me show you one thing before I go over my gear, my specific stats. So every piece of gear has stats in a soul bind. Okay, I'm starting with the basics. That way, anybody watching this video from ground zero can know what stats to look for. So if you look at my pieces that are soul bound, you can only see the stats that I've rolled. However, if I go here to a piece of gear that is not soul bound to me, I will see all of the available stats that can be rolled on that specific type of item. So all weapons, great swords, can roll with these stats. The stats will be higher based on the item level or the combat power of the item. However, the stats are pretty much the same. The skills are pretty much the same. So I could roll any of these skills and I could roll any of these stats. So what stats are BIS? Well, combat speed, weapon damage boost are insanely good. Okay. After combat speed and weapon damage boost, might and attack are pretty congruent. The thing about might is that you will get a portion of attack. I'm gonna highlight this again. Precision is build specific. Precision is accuracy and crit combined. So it is build specific, okay? If you want to build against Chanters and Templars and have the ability to kill them as a Gladiator, you want to have a certain amount of accuracy so that you can get through their block. Same thing if you're fighting a parry class. Critical hit is good. Critical attack, I believe, is better because when you crit, and sometimes you can guarantee crit on certain skills, so when you crit, it's going to deal more damage. So I would prioritize critical attack over critical hit, but critical hit is still important. Back attack is not that useful for our class because we're not an assassin. You will get back attacks, but it's not guaranteed, so I wouldn't prioritize that. Accuracy is, again, build specific. Block, not that great. You really want parry. I believe block does convert to parry if it's like Aion 1, but I have not truly confirmed this, so I'm using block where I get it, but I would prefer parry. Um, don't want HP on a weapon. Don't want MP on a weapon. The skills that you want are build specific, but I believe the best in slot skills, and I'm only rank 1 on my server, Crushing Wave, insanely good. Mocking Blade, insanely good. However, the best skill that you would want is Ruinous Blow, hands down. The next best skill for PvP only, Aerial Snare. You can use this on mobs, which you're never really going to use this on a boss, so that's why I say like PvP only. Ruinous Blow is good for everything. It's good for PvE and it's PvP. So this is literally the best skill to get on your weapon. Okay? Ankle Slice is not bad. Keen Strike is not bad. Even Leaping Slam. If you get really any active skill, it's not bad. But ideally, we want Ruinous Blow. Okay? Ruinous Blow is just insanely good. And if you're a PvEer and you like PvP, like PvX, I would say the next best after Ruinous Blow would be Crushing Wave. Because Crushing Wave resets on bosses are insane. Crushing Wave resets in PvP if you're surrounded by melee users is insane, because or if you're surrounded by mobs and fighting someone, you're gonna lifesteal and damage mitigate. Okay, so that's how you look through your items and understand what are the best stats for each item. I'm not gonna go over every single item for fear of making this video too long, but what I'm gonna do is highlight each of these stats. Okay, Might increases my attack. Okay, Dexterity is evasion, block, and crit. Constitution is HP. Precision is accuracy and crit, as I said. I believe Might is better for PvE and PvP, where Precision would be better for fighting the top 1% of players who are going to be stacking block or parry. Okay? Critical hit is good, but it's mostly for the accuracy that you want, because you want damage with crit and you want the accuracy so that you land your skills for these classes. However, in general, might and raising your attack is going to be better for most situations. Okay, intelligence is not bad because it increases status effect chance, but I don't think this is best stat for my class. I think it's better for like Sorks. I would say might and willpower are the top two stats here to get, because willpower is going to reduce status effect resist, and this is insanely good for PvP. Now, keep in mind, if you're just a PvEer and all you care about is damage, then you just need to stack as much might as possible and as much crit as possible. Okay, so it would probably be might and precision, even though you're getting mix of accuracy. Accuracy also does apply in PvE versus certain mobs. Okay, those are main stats. Now you have all of the legendary stats here. Okay, the best legendary stat is going to be clearly destruction. Okay, destruction here, it increases attack and perfect resist. This is by far the best stat to get. You can get this stat from your Pantheon and you can get this stat from Arcana. However, it's somewhat RNG on how to stack this stat. Death, critical hit, and regeneration is not bad, and I really like time for the combat speed. I would say those are close to the top three stats that you want as a Glad, but then you also have freedom, accuracy, and evasion, and justice. These are not bad. Like I said, accuracy is build specific. Defense, justice is not bad because you do want to have more survivability. And defense in this game apparently works for all damage taken. So it's physical damage, magical damage. Um, it seems like they combine defense into like magic resist and physical resist as it was in Ion 1. Okay. So just highlighting the other stats and giving my opinion. Move speed is not bad. It's just not BIS. MP and endurance, not good. Reduce MP consumption, not good. Again, I like death. Um, illusion is fairly good. The cooldown reduction I really like, and then the endurance penetration I fairly like. Okay. The HP, it's not bad. It's never bad to stack HP. It's always good for this class. But like I said, I prefer time to combat speed so you can get your skills off faster. We don't have huge cooldown problems on this class unless you're going for like a 2 minute cooldown buff build, in which I think would be mostly in game. Okay. Just going over substats very, very, very quickly. Okay. I'm going to show available stats only. Penetration is really nice for ignoring defense. Critical attack, again, just raises your attack. Power shard damage is amazing. Using gold power shards will actually increase power shard damage as well. Keep that in mind. Gray versus gold power shard. Critical damage defense is really good for PvP. Okay. Damage boost, amazing. And I'm getting more damage boost when I'm using Ruinous Blow. Critical damage boost, amazing. Damage tolerance, really good. Really good for everything. Critical damage tolerance, mostly good for PvP. Countering those crit classes. Multi-hit resists, I really like that. Here you see my block chance increases parry chance and shield block chance, meaning if you don't have a shield, block is going to be converted to parry. Then you have endurance here, increases endurance activation, reduces damage by half. This is a very low percentage chance for a class like Gladiator, so even though it's a good stat, it's not really something you're gonna focus much on for this class. Um, okay, stun chance is very, 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 very important. CC resistance is very, very, very important. All of these resistance are going to be stacked with status effect resistance and willpower. Status effect resistance and willpower are going to affect me resisting CC. And then my ability to do stuns, my ability to do airborne is somewhat affected by intelligence. However, we have a pretty high base chance for most of these skills. Okay, PvP stats, PvP attack, obviously PvP damage boost, like all of these are important. All of these are important. They're all good for PvP. It's very obvious. PvE stats, they're all good for PvE. The best stats for DPS is always going to be attack or damage boost, something that increases your overall damage. That's always going to be the best stat. Okay? So those are the stats that I am going for. That is a stat breakdown for this class. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop them in the comment section below. I really hope that this video helps you progress as a gladiator. And for those of you wondering if I'm actually rank 1, let me go ahead and actually show you. There are several Sorks in the leaderboards on my servers. However, when you look for Gladiator, you see my name. I am rank 7, and I have been absolutely dominating. I hope to see you guys in the stream. I hope to see you in the Discord community. Peace and love, gang.